Tonight, why a community solar project is capturing the state government's attention, and a special delivery for our region's drought-stricken farmers.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Casey Treelaw begins now.
Good evening. A man is facing a number of charges following a domestic disturbance at a Broken Hill home on Wednesday night. The incident reportedly starting after the man and a woman got into an argument.
A terrifying ordeal. At about 10 o'clock Wednesday night, a 29-year-old man and a 26-year-old woman got into an argument at their home in the city's north.
The argument turned physical and they did get into a bit of a scuffle with each other.
During the argument, the man has allegedly cable-tied the woman's hands together behind her back and detained her in the bedroom.
She has managed to run to the kitchen, call out a window to neighbours to get help. He's dragged her back to the bedroom where he's detained her for a bit longer.
A short time later, the man has let the woman leave the home, where she went to a nearby house asking for help.
They cut the bounds around her wrist off, and then she's run down the road to her sister's house where police were called.
Officers attended the home where they found the man and arrested him. He was taken to the city's police station and refused bail. Appearing in Broken Hill local court yesterday, he has been charged with assault, intimidation and kidnapping. He was granted conditional bail and will appear in court again in June. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Police have commenced a critical incident investigation in Broken Hill following a man's death on Thursday morning. Local officers were called to a home in Lane Lane at around 4 o'clock following a concern for welfare. They attempted to speak to a man believed to have been armed with a firearm. A short time later, officers heard a gunshot and found the 44-year-old. Paramedics were unable to revive him and a report is being prepared for the coroner. An illegal fishing business on the Darling River has been shut down by New South Wales Police. A man has been charged with allegedly stealing and selling 12 tonnes of golden perch with an estimated value of $200,000. The investigation into the enterprise lasted almost 2 years and involved the collaboration of Victoria, South Australia and New South Wales. The man could face jail time or a fine of over $100,000. Police are hunting for a man who broke into a Whyalla home and threatened a man and woman. At around 11 yesterday morning, a man forced his way into a McMahon Street home, stealing a number of items. The suspect is described as being of Aboriginal appearance, aged between 20 and 30. He was wearing a black baseball cap and black hooded jumper, using the hood to cover his face. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Port Pirie's community solar project is generating plenty of buzz, with the state government keeping a keen eye on its success. A recent council survey also showing an approval rating of 90% by households already taking part in the scheme.
Glowing reviews for a community project providing some of the state's renewable energy.
All of the responses on the whole, the community was satisfied 90% or greater.
The popularity of Port Pirie's project has been greatly attributed to saving the community big bucks.
We're probably looking at covering our bill from 85 to 95% of our bill.
High levels of public engagement are outshining the rest of the state, with a solar success capturing the attention of the state government.
The savings on the electricity bill contribute to the payment for the equipment over and above the subsidy, and when that's all paid for, then the real advantages just start to flow for families.
The minister becoming interested in how well the council's initiative has worked in unison with the government's own household solar scheme.
Well, we've actually created our programs in parallel, independently from each other, but they're dovetailing in very well.
For the Joneses, having insight into their daily power usage has changed the way they use electricity in the home.
Just simply putting on the dishwasher at lunchtime instead of at night after tea, because we've got a full battery source.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Cheaper and more reliable power is what Port Lincoln residents are being promised with the approval of a new transmission line to be built by electricity company Electranet. The new lines for the Eyre Peninsula will run from Coltana down to Port Lincoln and will cost $240 million.
Provide additional capacity for renewable energy generation or new mining loads or anything of that nature, because the existing infrastructure is quite limited.
The approval was made official yesterday afternoon and the project is scheduled to roll out early next year. A Dutch government agency has its eyes set on an Eyre Peninsula graphite mine. Sivia owner Renascor Resources says the Netherlands Export Credit Agency has shown interest. If a partnership can be struck, it could make it easier to export into the country. It comes as Renascor this week secured a mineral lease from the state government, with graphite mining expected to begin next year. Upper Spencer Gulf leaders have declared their Canberra visit a success. The three mayors met with a number of MPs and government agencies, spruiking the rejuvenation of the region. John Hunt has more.
It's an annual pilgrimage with the aim of putting our region in the minds of federal politicians. The mayors and CEOs of Whyalla, Port Augusta and Port Pirie visited Canberra recently, meeting with both sides of the aisle. The trip taking place during Budget Week. Meetings were held with Deputy PM Michael McCormack, Regional Development Minister Bridget McKenzie and all 12 South Australian senators. They also met with senior Labor figures who are a chance of being in government come May 19. Whyalla Mayor Claire McLaughlin says joining forces strengthen their lobbying.
We know that if we lobby as a cohesive group, it has a better impact and we give out a stronger voice to Canberra.
Port Pirie Mayor Leon Stevens says livability, road funding and healthcare were hot topics. He also says they made a case for bringing skilled migrants to the region.
Bring us online so that when these jobs get up and running, we can actually fill the positions.
The group's keen to return next year. Until then, they'll have to sit and wait to see who's in power after the election next month.
Still to come tonight, an emotional moment for a special delivery of hay, and a colourful weekend gets underway in Tumby Bay. Hello again. The last road train delivering bales of hay to drought-stricken farmers has arrived in Ceduna this morning. It's part of 3,500 tonnes of hay being donated across the West Coast and Eyre Peninsula since the recent harvest.
A truckload of vital feed headed for drought-stricken cattle farmers. 82 bales of donated hay from the Lower Eyre Peninsula, making a 400-kilometre journey to Ceduna.
It's been one of the driest summers on record, and so a lot of people are struggling with paddock tucker and not having enough tucker to keep sheep alive. Steve Willis formed the Epic Charitable Trust last year and teamed up with local farmers to utilise the straw sitting in paddocks post-harvest. We started with an aim of 5,000 bales. But we've done 5,800 because we've continued to receive donations. To put that into perspective, that's around 3,500 tonnes of hay worth close to $1.5 million, and being able to feed 60,000 sheep. Truck driver David Liddicoat says it's an emotional moment when making the special delivery.
It was just quite confronting, really, like the season for them, for just to see how they were doing it tough. And this weekend, Mentally Fit EP is hosting a community event in Cow to help support its local farmers. It's basically giving back to the community that are doing it tough, the townspeople, the oyster industry, and not just the farmers. It's a whole of community approach. Tickets are still on sale and can be found on the Mentally Fit EP Facebook page. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A plan to remove a number of semi-trailers from Broken Hill streets has been named a priority by City Council. The idea is to construct a ring road to divert trucks away from residential areas.
The Kings on Outback highways a problem on local streets. The plan to build a ring road around the outskirts of the Silver City isn't a new idea, but it's gaining some new traction.
The idea was to have it as a staged project. Because of Council's own financial situation, that the idea was dropped for a bit. It's never completely gone away.
At the moment, dozens and dozens of road trains and semi-trailers roll through the city daily, from mining trucks to freighters passing through to other states. They all have to navigate small roundabouts, tight turns and local drivers in town.
For the truckies as well, I think this makes for a more efficient road system of benefit to us all.
A ring road would see many of these trucks effectively bypass the city, reducing noise complaints for residents and the wear and tear on our roads and streets. Council's new proposal was given out to politicians and those in position to help with funding.
It's the sort of project project that does take quite a while to develop. I think we'd need to go back and have a look at those plans that were produced before.
Miss Brown says not all trucks would be diverted around the city if a ring road is constructed, but locals would notice a difference. Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still in Broken Hill, and the Far West Local Health District is encouraging locals to nominate a volunteer for its annual awards. Those living in the Far West region can nominate an individual or group of volunteers who think they've done an amazing job for the health service. It could be the ladies at the kiosk, palliative care workers or Tai Chi leaders, to name a few. Nominations close on May 10. The second Colourtumby Festival has kicked off today with artists taking to the paint cans. The festival running across the weekend with Melbourne band Kingswood set to provide the entertainment tomorrow night.
It's a festival that encourages local and international artists to bring their culture and colour to the Eyre Peninsula.
It's a bit of a contrast from the big cities, but I actually have more fun here than I do painting, in other places in the world.
With Vera Richards teaming up with Adney to highlight the local Aboriginal community.
I'm here to represent my community as a local Bangla artist.
I'll be painting a portrait of a son and a portrait of a dad, and they're really, important family for this community and for this area.
While Greek muralist Insane 51 will be creating a 3D graffiti artwork along the foreshore, allowing viewers to see 2 separate artworks from the same mural when viewed through the lenses of blue and red light. And French artist Jacques also in town.
So my plan is maybe to do like some character with colourful.
American artist Ellie says she can't wait to get started.
I do collage and then figurative work as well, so it'll be like floral, figurative, almost like a sea floral creature.
And for some added entertainment, the festival is hosting Melbourne band Kingswood, set to take to the stage tomorrow night. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The mid-north town of Peterborough will be bursting at the creative seams this weekend, with the town gearing up to host 3 art events. It includes a 16-year milestone for the Peterborough Art Prize.
Once a quaint exhibition, the Peterborough Art Prize is now drawing in the numbers.
And have a look at the Art Prize in our beautiful town hall, then go and visit all the other tourist attractions in town, so it's a real draw card for us.
It's Anarchy April for the small town, which balances 3 separate art events starting from today until Easter long weekend. Kicking it all off for the 16th year is the Peterborough Art Prize.
We've got 156 artworks this year, and we've got 56 photos.
It's a unique period of the year where locals can show off their creative flair. It's drawn in attention from artists as far away as the Riverland.
Often you'll find rural scenes and real photographs, real paintings, and it's a real reflection of what happens in and around the District Council of Peterborough.
It's not just what's on the canvas that counts. Craft lovers will also have their moment to shine with a tailored festival at the Arts Centre.
The Peterborough Handcraft Fair, which is held here at the Arts Centre on the same days as the Art Prize.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. A Whyalla football oval set for a facelift, and we'll have the weekend weather details with Britt. Welcome back. Whyalla's Memorial Oval is off limits for 8 weeks as the surface undergoes a number of repairs. It's forced the local Football League to tweak its fixture to cope with the loss of the grounds.
It's been a hectic 12 months for Memorial Oval. The historic ground has seen its fair share of footy and cricket. Council has put the facility on the injury list, so a number of repairs can take place.
The subsurface irrigation at the Oval, it's been failing, and we haven't been managing to get enough water into the ground.
A major renovation is underway. The Oval's been stripped back, with 300 tonnes of topsoil being distributed to revitalise the surface. However, it's a time-intensive project that's forced all activities off the ground.
We've asked them to come off the ground for between 6 and 8 weeks.
Whyalla Footy hosts 1 game a week, while North and West train there. For the next fortnight, scheduled Memorial Oval games, including Roos and Waruna Bay this week, will move to Friday nights at Bennett.
Saturday's game is now playing here tonight at the Bennett, and as you can see, it looks beautiful here tonight.
Bennett itself has had a tough upgrade over summer, but Mr Velthausen says the Oval will just have to cope.
The timing was just a tat out, but there you go. There's nothing you can do about it.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
And time now to hear what our local footy tipsters have to say about this weekend's action.
Friday night football is back and it's Rapina versus Runa Bay. Both teams copped absolute hammerings last week, so hard to get a form line there, but I think the Bays will sneak across the line. Saturday's game will see South Whyalla versus Central Whyalla. South were pretty good even though they did lose to North, but Central's are super impressive. Some very good players in their team and they should win. On Sunday it's West Whyalla versus North Whyalla. Always a good game between these two clubs. Hard to see which way this will go, so we'll stick with the reigning premiers.
Broken Hill football returns tomorrow with the Lightning Cup. The four clubs play a shortened format of the game in what should be a thrilling day of football for both men's and women's. South have dominated this competition since, for the last 8 years. They've won 8 cups. They'll win tomorrow. Not a problem. In the women's, it'll be a lot closer. I'm expecting North to win the Lightning Cup for the women. Great to have football back in Broken Hill. Jubilee Oval tomorrow. Sensational weather. Sensational football.
Now for a look at what's in store for this weekend's weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Casey. We've had a sunny day today. Port Augusta with a max of 29. Whyalla and Broken Hill both reached 27. It was 26 at Port Lincoln, 28 at Port Pirie, Adelaide 25. To the satellite now, where we can see a high pressure system situated over Mount Gambier moving east. Tonight, a weak front will move over the coast. Looking ahead to tomorrow now, easterly winds tending southeasterly with swells at 1.5 metres and sunrise is due just before 20 to 7. Fine and partly cloudy conditions expected over most parts. Port Augusta and Corn both looking at a top of 29, Port Pirie 28, Whyalla, Woodner and Broken Hill all 27, Kadina 26, Coffin Bay, Clare, Cleve and Adelaide all with a top of 25, Port Lincoln looking cloudy and 23. And those fine conditions will continue through the weekend and into next week. Port Lincoln with tops in the mid to late 20s, slightly warmer at Cleve, reaching 30 on Sunday, Woodner 32 on Sunday, Monday 31. Whyalla 30 degrees the top on Sunday, Monday 29. Port Augusta 31 Sunday and Monday, up to 35 on Tuesday. Kadina warming up slightly into next week. Port Pirie with tops of 30 Sunday and Monday, Clare heading into the late 20s and early 30s, and finally Broken Hill 28 on Sunday, Monday 29. And that's all from me, Casey. Enjoy the fine weather this weekend.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's the local news this Friday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend and I'll see you on Monday. Good night.